Hi everybody, it's so nice to see you all again on a Friday. So let's get going because I don't want to cut anyone short today. Hi there. My goodness, you have a collection behind you.
Yeah, a little bit of one.
I have to put my glasses on. Okay. Do you make them or buy them?
No, I buy them.
Okay. It looks like you should be able to make those too.
A friend of mine does some custom ones. I just haven't gotten any from her yet.
Whereabouts in the world are you?
I am outside Philadelphia.
Okay. You got some pretty delightful looking tattoos, although I can't quite see any of it. You don't have to show me them, but it looks like you got some, the colors matching the color in the background. It's pretty great.
Comics on one corner, Phoenix on that side.
Fantastic.
Couple on my shoulders. I always wanted to be an astronaut and never got to.
I can't really get to actors. Some actors have tattoos, but it's 25 minutes in the morning having them covered up.
Yeah.
Suitably by makeup, and it's just not worth my time.
I work in law, so I have to cover them up, but just with
clothing,
you do? It's fine. Yeah.
What area of law?
Well, I work in the copy room.
Oh yeah.
So I help with a lot of things. My firm does banking, real estate, medical malpractice.
And are you furloughed, or are you just working from home? Is it still chugging along?
We are partially furloughed right now.
Yeah.
So we are 25% furloughed. I am still working from home. I actually have my system running in the background here.
Right, just
to make sure I don't get emails.
Absolutely. Do you like working from home?
I like my commute being 5 seconds.
Right.
Because I work in a copy room, it's really hard to do without having copy equipment.
Yeah, that figures.
So I'm lucky. I am very, very good with technology.
Okay.
So it's been pretty easy for me to adjust to, instead of printing everything, using the software to do it all electronically.
Right.
But it's tough.
Okay. So you're looking forward to going back to work at some point.
I'm looking forward to having my hands on things again.
Yeah. I don't know when that'll be. Of course, actually, paper is totally safe, isn't it? I mean, apparently the thing might last 3 days. No one really knows on a piece of paper. I mean, we have to put all our mail in the garage for 3 days, right. And then it gets to come in. It's a kind of whole thing.
I have cardboard boxes sitting out on my deck right now.
Exactly.
Because we can't put them in the trash yet. They just have to sit.
Well, I figured out that I could actually go out with my box cutter, cut the box, take out whatever's inside it, leave the box outside, and then just wipe down the thing when I bring it in and wash my hands.
That's exactly what I've been doing.
I'm planting tomatoes right now. What are you up to?
A whole lot of not much. Honestly, I walk a lot.
Yeah.
I am waiting for my third pair of sneakers to get here, because I've already destroyed 2 in the past 2 months.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's it. I've got cats that I play with.
Right.
I walk, I read.
Do you have an outside to your apartment or your house or wherever you are?
No, it's a house. I can walk for 3 or 4 miles, and the closest another person gets is like a block away.
Wow,
and I can see them coming, so I can always adjust my path.
Yeah. And do you like fresh tomatoes in the summer?
I do.
This is the perfect time to put them in the ground.
I can't grow things myself. I kill everything I've ever tried to grow. And I mean, I've killed a cactus. Yeah. My vegetables and fruits have to be purchased.
All right. Well, there is nothing sweeter than your own tomato. Do you live alone?
No, right now I'm living with my parents. They're both handicapped, so it's kind of a good situation to be able to help them out.
Yes. And did you move in because of COVID?
No, it's just being the extra set of hands.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And they must be so happy to have you.
Yes and no. They like having someone who can do things. We don't get along real great. Been a little bit of a learning curve again.
Yeah. When did you first move out?
When I went to university. So I was 17. Right. And then it's been a little back and forth since then.
Where do you get your information? Where do you get news you can trust?
I actually get a lot of it from BBC.
Oh, yeah. Great. Okay, cool. That's great. Yeah, I think they're pretty reliable. They've been in trouble once or twice in the years. And, they're pretty English-centric. But they have got a great US section.
Tends to not be partisan.
They're not trying to get involved. They don't want to, believe me, they don't want to get involved in a fight.
Right. So it's nice to have a neutral perspective coming out.
Yeah,
someone.
I sometimes wait to see if a story makes it to the BBC, and often it doesn't, which makes me go, oh, maybe there's something not quite correct about this story, or maybe some part of it hasn't been authenticated. Okay, that's really good. And I've got another thing that I'd like to talk about, because I'm going to overlap it to next week, because we're all beginning to open up all over the country, all over the world, I think, because we realize that we will all go broke. What do you think about risk? How do you manage risk?
I can only be as careful as I can be. I've got masks everywhere. I wash my hands obsessively. I think I'm going to have to take my own soap into work when we reopen. I'm allergic to the soap in our restrooms.
Oh, well, that's a good reason anyway.
So I can use the kitchen soap, but I think I'm just going to start bringing my own for volume.
Yeah. Because I think everyone's going to have to start thinking about risk and what risk is acceptable, knowing that there definitely will be some risk coming our way in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And that's particularly acute, especially if you have children. I know a lot of people here have children or parents, especially as you do in the same house.
I'm not great at standing up for myself.
Yeah.
So when my office starts insisting on things, I am going to have to learn how to push back.
Absolutely.
I know that, and I am practicing already.
Good. Well, don't become the pushy backy person, but absolutely push back if they ask you to do something unacceptable. Do you have a supervisor, someone above you who you can anticipate possible problems given the COVID situation and say, I'm just flagging this up, might be a thing?
I can try. We have an office manager, but she doesn't have a lot of say, but we'll see what happens. I'm not going to let them just push me around.
No, good. No. That's terrific.
That's my goal.
It's been lovely speaking to you too. Thank you for sharing everything with us.
Thank you.
How's it going?
Hello, Vincent.
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too, my friend. In the green screen part, the technology, I've seen a few others too, but it works quite well because you're moving around, it's got quite long hair, and it's kind of hanging on to it. And
and if you just go crazy, then your arms disappear. Yeah.
They sell green screens on stands that go behind you. And would that make it better? I think it would.
It would. Yeah, it'll shine a light in your face a little bit better and stuff. Your lighting is pretty good, actually. By the way, it's no.
Yeah, I had to buy a second light. I've got a light here and a light there. And a window right in front of me, huge window.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, because I'm doing like some video stuff. I got like some tripods and stuff. I'm going to do some reviews on a YouTube channel and stuff like that.
What are you going to review?
Anything that people send me and things that I like. Like I got a keyboard by a company that sent me their keyboard to review, and I'm going to do a review on that. Yeah, mechanical.
So you're a tech geek?
Yes, I am. Uber tech geek. Yes.
That is fantastic. And do you do a wide array of tech stuff, or like?
And I started on microcomputers, like the first ones and stuff like that. And then I became a mainframe programmer. So I was doing a multi-million-dollar computers, you know what I mean, and then and stuff like that. Yeah.
And are you still doing that?
No, I game a lot. Right now, I'm in between jobs right now. I don't have to deal with a lot of people right now because, as you know, it's a little risky.
And would you prefer to be in software, hardware development, or are you happy where you are?
Now I'm in between stuff, so I'm doing the YouTube thing a little bit. I'm starting that kind of stuff out. Exactly, because now's a good time to do it. I play a game called Fortnite. I stream a little bit.
And how does that work? Do you say, hey, I'm a reviewer? Would you send me anytime you got products you'd like me to review? I have a channel on YouTube, etc.
You could do that. Yes. The way I got involved in it is I bought a product by a company, and then they had a thing that they sent saying, hey, you could be a member of our VIP club. Go over here. You might have an opportunity to test products out. Wow. So I joined their Facebook page, and then I said, yeah, I'd like to test some stuff out. And they sent me a keyboard and a mouse, and now they sent me another keyboard. I got started just by handheld, and now I'm going into, tripods and stuff.
Wow.
The bonus is, because I'm a geek, is you can get people to send you product, and then you can review it. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day. You get to play with more stuff, more tech.
You get to keep it?
Yeah. You get to keep it. Yep.
You could decorate your bathroom walls with keyboards.
I just started, so I just started doing it, you know what I mean, and I'm using that to build momentum to do other things.
Colin, the guy who did the quiz, the pub quiz, and he was about to buy a camera. His camera went, and I said, wait, you'd probably find one for about $25.
Well, I've got a camera for him. The camera I'm using right now is called a Wyze Cam, WYZE. They're a home surveillance camera that is no kidding, $25, 1080p video camera. But what they did is, because of COVID and everybody buying up all the net cams and selling them at ridiculous prices, they came up with a firmware update, and they have instructions on there. And for $25, he's got a webcam.
Wow.
And he'll have a beautiful webcam, and he'll have a nice picture and everything else.
That is great. Well, that's what I figured, because I've got an old computer. I'm playing on now is a Power Mac, but it's from 2013, so it's pretty old. And I'm sure it does. I can't really tell because I haven't got my glasses.
It does fine. It does fine for what you're doing. Perfect. Yeah.
I think lighting is more important than camera.
Yeah, and if you move around a lot, as you know, then you'll get tracking problems.
Where are you in the world?
I'm in Texas.
Oh, wow.
Right now in Texas, yeah.
In a big city or a small town?
A place called Plano. So it's right off Dallas-Fort Worth area, the big Dallas-Fort Worth area.
How's things?
I like it. It's great. Unfortunately, it's like anything else with people opening, everybody's got opinions on everything else right now. And I don't go out, in public a lot, to the grocery store and stuff. I'll do pickup or delivery because it's just easier and safer for that way. And, just do what you can.
Absolutely. Do you notice lots of people mingling? Lots of people going
There
crazy?
are people that do. Like, example, you could go to the store and, people stay 6 feet away and half of them, don't have masks. My philosophy is very simple. I don't call people stupid or get offended by people,
That doesn't work.
Not only doesn't work, it means that who are you to be that arrogant? Because there might be a reason behind that. There are some legitimate reasons for people not wearing a mask. It's just what you do in response to that. Be kind to everybody and be as nice as you can. So if they're in the aisle and they're blocking your way, go to another aisle. It's okay, and come back to it. It's all good, at the end of the day. Yeah. Right now, I think it's really cool that we're rocking almost the same beard, with the same colors.
We absolutely are. Do you ever diet?
No, it's out of a can right now, but I still also cook food. Oh, diet. See, I thought you meant food diet. It's an unfair thing.
Are you alone on the bridge?
Yes, I am. I live by myself. Yeah.
Is that your default, or is it a COVID?
My default now is that I always used to be, Italian American family, lots of people, lots of cousins, whatever, chaos everywhere. And then later on, I moved to Texas 10 years ago. And I was like, this is nice. I'm enjoying the solitary part of it now.
The lone guy in the lone state. Yeah. Where do you get your news from?
I go on the internet for the main body of it in the morning with my cup of coffee. I need to start out that way. Use Google News to get various news sources, nothing too biased or anything else like that. And then off of that, I will go and I'll watch the local channels, which is like Channel 11 News, CBS, and NBC.
Right.
From there. And also their YouTube channels.
Where do you verify?
I cross-reference that between both the internet and that because I've noticed that there's a lot of places where you used to have laws in the States here that you couldn't be this person and have all these radio stations and news stations and TV stations, and now they threw that out a long time ago. So you see biased slants in different places, and you kind of got to get to whoever you think is local. Where are you getting your news from?
I think the BBC is pretty good because it gives you a basic touchstone. It's not as in depth as some of the news sources you'll be reading. My kind of thing is unity. And I was saying last night, this is the one time in my lifetime, and I'm a year older than you, the entire planet is right now unified by one event. All I do know is that America, and any country for that matter, will never be great unless it's unified.
Let's change stuff for the better.
And knives and hats.
After COVID's done, I think there's going to be a big hug-a-thon. Everybody's going to hug everybody.
I really hope so, because I would have thought it would happen during COVID, because everybody's ill. People are looking after each other.
Yes,
regardless of this, right? Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, my friend. Just be ready to decorate your entire kitchen with some kind of cool gadget, because you're going to have so many of them.
Send me a spork and I'll review it.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Hey, Keith.
How you doing, sir?
Very good indeed, thank you. Oh, you've got a young animal on your lap there.
This is my little buddy, Charlie. He and I have been together for not quite a year. He's a rescue dog.
What make is he?
He's a Chidoxie. He's 9 years old.
He's very sweet. Hello, mister.
Right now, it's just me and him.
Great,
okay.
He
and I.
Yeah.
He came out from under the desk here to see what was going on.
And he's thoroughly bored now and gone off to do something much more interesting.
Crawl back underneath the desk to his bed to go back to sleep.
I'm really jealous of dogs being able to do that. They can go to sleep for like all day, wake up for a couple of minutes and just go right back to sleep. It's a weird thing they have. They just switch off.
It's amazing. If we were to do that, we'd be called lazy.
I think so, yeah. Well, our little dog really doesn't like to walk. She just goes out to pee. She's 13. I mean, she's pretty old, but she really can't be bothered with anything except food, which is a good sign. She's still really excited by food. And every night we do a treat for her. So we found these amazing treats. They're made of duck heart. But what we do is we hide the duck heart somewhere else in the house every single night. So, and we make it really hard. So we'll hide it on top at the back of a sofa, right up here, upstairs in the bathroom, or downstairs in the kitchen. Every night it's somewhere different. And she now knows that as soon as she comes back in after dark, when she's had her final pee, she starts to go and she's off looking for this thing. I think she's great. It's great fun for dogs. It keeps the old brain ticking along, and it's always different. So it's been fun. Where are you?
I am in Roanoke, Virginia.
Oh, wow.
2 hours north of Greensboro, North Carolina, that area.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a different place, I'll put it that way. I grew up in North Carolina because of the military and the jobs that I had 40 years with the government. I moved around a lot, so I got to see quite a few places.
And what kind of work, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, the first 9 years was, like I said, in the military with the Air Force. In that, I went to Biloxi, Mississippi, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Rhein-Main Air Base in Frankfurt, Germany. That was really nice.
It's just near Frankfurt. Okay, because I went to a British Air Force base because one of my best friends growing up was in the British Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to one of the British version of your base, and that was in Rhode Island. Okay.
The base now has been given back to the Germans.
Okay.
After the 9 years of military, I did the other 31 in the civilian side of the government with Social Security and the Veterans Administration, the Department of Defense, that kind of thing.
My goodness, you've had an extraordinarily experienced life.
I've been able to see and do a lot of things.
Yeah. Did you miss the Air Force life?
Yes and no. There was a big reduction in force in the mid-'80s.
Yeah.
Because they had, too many people in the military. That was when they were shrinking back. And I was one of the people that they came to and went, yeah, we have too many of your career field. Bye-bye.
No.
And I didn't get to argue it. I was just on the point of becoming a career enlisted.
Right.
I had tested for tech sergeant and never got to find out whether I passed.
Oh, that's terrible.
I've enjoyed it. It has served me well.
Good.
I've seen things I never would have gotten to see, or been to places I wouldn't have been able to before.
Yeah. Where do you get your reliable news?
Reliable news?
There's news, kind of entertainment news, and news. Right. I need to find out if this is a fact right now.
New York Times, like other people have said, the BBC.
Yeah, okay.
Because there is no vested interest one way or the other.
Everybody's really concerned about fake news. It seems to be an invention of the last 3 or 4 years, because I don't remember hearing about fake news so often a few years ago, but it's suddenly everywhere. There are places to go if you're concerned about it.
Oh, yes. As far as I'm concerned, we haven't had a real unbiased reporter of the news since Walter Cronkite passed away. He was the one person that he would go on and just read you the facts and let you make your own decisions.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember those guys and Chet Huntley and David Brinkley that were on NBC.
And what are you doing to pass the time?
Chats like this. And
Good.
A friend of mine, I perform parody music at conventions.
Wow.
Of course, with the COVID, the conventions have gone away.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine does trivia on Tuesday nights. He had been doing trivia at a bar in Muncie, Indiana, where he lives.
Right.
And of course, that shut down. So he gets to do it online now.
He's moved online. And what's it like? What's the trivia quiz like? Is it really fiendishly difficult?
He can make it that way. He does 42 questions because, of course, 42 is the answer to everything. And he will do 8 groups of 5 different questions, and people get to vote on what the categories are.
Yeah.
Then the last 2 questions are of his own choosing. And he does get rather fiendish during that. He will pull very obscure facts out of somewhere. I'm just doing what I can to keep busy. Of course, Charlie takes me out for a walk 3 times a day.
Yes. So you can have a pee somewhere.
Oh, yes. We do about 3 to 5 miles a day altogether.
Wow, that's great exercise.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Especially here where it's not flat everywhere.
And do you find that it's easy to get everything you need?
I can pretty much go out and find what I want to.
Yeah.
I guess I could say I'm one of those old schoolers that kind of stay stocked up on things anyway. I've actually had friends call me and go, man, you got any extra toilet paper? It's nice to just, have the time to sit back and think about things, though, and not be so rushed.
That's a very good philosophy. It's a very good way to think about it. Sit back and think about things. I think that's kind of one of the things we've been talking about over the past few weeks?
Well, I've been learning lots of Jimmy Buffett music too, because since he can't go out and tour, they've been showing old concerts online, which gives me a chance to watch him playing guitar and go, okay, that's played with this chord and this chord and this chord.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you play?
Yes, I've been playing guitar since 55 years now.
Oh my goodness. You're gonna you're gonna have to play for us one of these days.
Well, yeah, whenever Mel says I can, or
We'd
whatever.
love it. We'd love it. You should get together with Mel and discuss what you'd like to play, and then we can just set it up, because if you want to play, we'd love to hear it.
Well, I've actually done some parody songs about such subjects as Star Trek and Star Wars, other genres, whatever.
Consider yourself booked, sir. All right, we're gonna play us out either next week or whenever you choose. Just let us know.
I am at your disposal, sir.
It's a real pleasure to meet you, and I know I'll meet you again. Hello, Victoria. Good to see you again.
You too. You're right. I'm not doing much. I'm just making little cardboard boxes.
Oh, well, that's a lot more than I'm doing.
So we bought a house last year, and the front garden's a complete mess. So we're going to do like a raised flower bed, but to work out the need, I'm making the little boxes to represent the sleepers.
Oh, brilliant. You're making a model of your own place. And it's great weather for it.
Yeah.
Are you going to be able to find all the stuff you need?
I think so.
Yeah.
But most of the DIY shops seem to have sleepers, so.
It's going to be sleepers, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I did some for my place in Sussex years ago. I bought one, authentic ones, as opposed to, because they're creosote injected, they're full of creosote. Yeah. And the problem is, when you come up to your raised bed, you want to sit down on the edge of the bed and pick weeds out. And every time I do it, I got tar on the back of my trousers. So you want to pick uncreosoted sleepers. That's a hot tip.
We were going for new ones. So they've been treated so they don't rot, but they're not full of tar and everything.
Yeah, they're pressure treated, but not tarred out.
Yeah.
So what's going on wherever it is you're living?
I live in Leamington Spa. I'm working from home. My husband's working from home. That's about it.
Oh, well, that's pretty great. Were you always working from home, or did you start working from home because of this thing?
I used to work from home at weekends, but we do have an office. We moved here because it's like a 10-minute walk to the office for me.
Okay.
But yeah, now we're all working from home permanently.
And is it all right? Is everything okay?
Yeah, because we work from home at the weekend. We're quite well set up to do it anyway.
Right.
And then my husband worked from home 1 day a week before this, so he's okay as well.
So he's fine. And you both work in the same business?
No, so my husband works in banking.
Right.
And I create the music charts for UK and Ireland. You get on BBC.
Oh my goodness. So you not only make little cardboard model boxes, but you make amazing music chart for stuff. That's fantastic. Is it really time consuming?
Yeah, so we publish a chart every day.
Yeah.
So the industry can check it. And then we publish the final ones on Fridays.
Oh my goodness. So you're really up on music and what's going on?
No, I'm on the technical side.
Okay. I'm not doing very well here, am I? Everything I say I get quite wrong. So you make sure the thing works smoothly?
Yeah, so I make sure the database doesn't die and that we get the charts out. And then we've got a product research side that checks the charts are correct and that all the products in the chart are correct. So like they've got the right track listing.
Oh, how long have you been doing this?
5 years.
Well, so you're quite a veteran at it now. And do you notice that things have changed a lot? Has there been a big change in the business?
Yeah, so we didn't have, when I first started, we didn't have album streams in the charts. So we put them in, and things are definitely going more digital. Since the lockdown, all the little indie retailers have started doing a home delivery service as well, so they can survive.
Yeah, it's a fascinating job. I mean, I don't know if you find it fascinating, but it's fascinating from my point of view.
It is. I mean,
a lot more fascinating than your husband's.
But when you think about it, there's only 10 of us in the UK that do it.
Yeah.
And we're all in Warwick.
That's crazy. So you never can be on the same plane together.
I don't think we'd ever want to be. We all want to go different places.
We have to have like fakes of you just in case one of you gets attacked.
Yeah, because if we all go, then I don't know what you're going to do. Someone else have to make them.
So did you have a summer holiday plan this year that you've had to postpone?
We were going to go to Dortmund for the Star Trek convention.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But then we cancelled that before the lockdown.
Yeah.
I apparently broke my foot in October.
You just weren't sure?
So we were having our bathing done, so we went and used someone else's to wash our hair and have a shower. And I fell down her top stair, and the hospital like, yeah, you've broken your foot. And then come January, February, they're like, you've not broken your foot, you've just got an extra bone, so it's looking like it's broken on all the x-rays, and they think I've done damage to my tendon instead. for my MRI results now.
Oh gosh, and you're still suffering?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really sorry. Those things take a long time to heal. I mean, you need to look at sports stars who all spend...
I've just had extra practice at lockdown. That's all it is.
Yeah. So is anyone else in the house? Do you have any pets?
We have 2 cats. Got them in January.
Oh, you did?
SPCA.
Wow. And are they in-home cats or out-home cats?
They do go out.
They go out.
We haven't got a cat flap, so we have to keep opening doors for them. I'm not sure I want to go out now. Quite annoying.
And do you live in a built-up area in Leamington Spa?
We're on the edge. Do you know Leamington?
Not really, but it's one of the most famous names because it's got such a... I'm not sure if it has there's an allusion to some literary book or whether it's just because the name is so evocative, sort of romantic name, Leamington Spa.
We live we're on the edge near the motorway, so it's quite built up, but at the same time, it's quite peaceful.
I know what you mean, because you don't get lots of through traffic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you get your news?
I tend to avoid it because it's really depressing.
That's a trick. That's a thing to do. And my wife does the same thing. She avoids it altogether. Waits me to tell her.
Probably BBC or The Guardian.
That's great. That's good. That makes sense. And how are you about risk? Because we're going to have to open up.
Well, I'm not really going out, so I'm okay because of my foot. And then also I've got quite severe asthma, so I'm not meant to be going out.
Yeah.
I send my husband out, so it's all good.
That's great. And he does all the shopping and who does the cooking?
We share.
What sort of things do you make?
Kind of like mince and vegetables and things like that.
Yeah,
sometimes there'll be a rice pudding. Say nothing too adventurous.
Wow, pretty good. And do you make a cottage pie or a shepherd pie?
It's more bolognese than shepherd's pie, but...
How do you make your bolognese? I've got a tip for you if you're interested.
Yeah, tell me a tip.
Buy a little bit more minced ground beef, more than you would normally buy. So you maybe buy a pound, buy a little bit more than that. And then take a third of it and bake it in the oven very, very hot till you burn it.
Okay.
And then put it, and you'll find it all bakes into a kind of sheet of unidentifiable mince. Blender and chop it all up so it becomes really tight, like sand.
Okay.
And put that back into the mince you've cooked with a little water. But don't burn it too much. I'm just saying just burn it.
It's crispy.
And it's a real depth and a real nuttiness to your bolognese.
Cool, I will try that.
That's a tip. But you mustn't completely nuke it. So
Really?
the cat would still eat it.
The cats eat anything though.
I know, I've been told they eat your face off if you fall asleep next to them. But it's been lovely talking to you. I hope that you and your husband do brilliantly and that your foot heals perfectly in the next, as soon as possible, really.
I hope so, because I'd like to be able to drive.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's a long time since January that you still can't drive.
But since October, really.
Well, good luck with it.
Thank you.
And keep tuning in.
I will do.
Thanks very much. Where are you?
I'm in Brooklyn.
Oh, wow. Okay, we got people from Brooklyn here. So you're at least the second person from Brooklyn.
Yeah, there was someone from Brooklyn.
Yeah, last time around.
Last Friday or something, yeah.
Absolutely. A lawyer, and a paint artist lawyer.
That's right. Yeah, she actually lives like 2 subway stops away from me.
Cool. And what are you doing in Brooklyn?
I'm a writer, artist, and I work from home, but I've worked from home for like 15 years. My life isn't on a day-to-day basis very different.
It's just a mask. The mask is the only difference.
Just if I go out to get groceries or something, now I wear a mask. That's really the only difference. I'm coping. I was very sick as a kid. I was home a lot. I kind of was always used to entertaining myself. That's why I kind of became an artist. So yeah, I'm coping relatively well.
Good. I'm really glad to hear it. And did I hear you right that you are a writer and an artist, or a writer artist?
A writer and an artist. I work in comic books.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I started primarily as an artist, but now I'm writing like my own books. Worked for Disney for a while, and I would write and draw some stuff for Disney. But for the past few years, I've been doing my own books as both the writer and the artist and the illustrator.
That is such an awesome job. So everyone is green with envy down in this chat room.
Well, I'm especially green because I'm done green.
Yeah, well, I didn't even know I was falling into that.
No, that's okay. I'm also my books they're funny books full of puns and stuff. So
what is the one you're most proud of recently?
Well, my current one, I don't know if this is showing up backwards or not, but it's investigators.
Wait a minute, is that like a pun?
It is a pun. Thank you. You're one of the first to notice.
I know, but I'm really smart. Is it kid friendly?
There you go. It's for kids.
Wow, that is so cool. I can see it. I can see it even without my spectacles. I'm just gonna check it out.
So they wear these vests and they go undercover. So here they're undercover as bakers.
And they're like on sale in regular bookstores.
Oh yeah. It's actually so I was just before the lockdown. I was on a 2-week tour in February and March, and it took me to like 9 airports. And every time I left an airport, like the next day there was news that like someone's been diagnosed with COVID.
Oh my God, you were being chased by COVID throughout the country.
And then I got home and then I got sick, but I never got a fever. But while I was on tour, it hit the New York Times bestsellers list.
Congratulations.
So that's
my goodness, that's fantastic. That is
my
really
first
great.
time.
You are brilliant.
Thank you.
Wonderful news. Great timing too, because now we need books. We need some great fun things to do inside.
Been a lot of Zoom meetings and a lot of like I've been recording like videos of me like drawing the characters, and they've been sending them to like schools and stuff for the remote school session. It's been different.
Well, I am genuinely impressed by your what you've been up to. How many of these books have you done?
Well, I'm currently drawing the 4th one of this series.
Yeah.
Like, this one just came out in February. They're releasing one of these like every 6 months. So I'm already drawing the 4th one, and I'm like 75% done with it. So I'll be done in a month. The second one comes out in September. The third one comes out next February. I'm signed up for 5 of them. So I'm doing at least 5 of them, and they're like one after the other. So I have like 4 months to draw 200 pages.
Boom, 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 boom.
And then I do the next one.
And where do you do your work? Do you do it where you are now? Is that like a desk where you are?
Yeah, this is like I'm in my computer studio. But most of my drawing, I do a dining room table just because it gets the best sunlight. And
I was going to say it's not very bright where you are, so
yeah, it's not very bright. And I do have another half to my studio where I have like an art desk, but the lighting still isn't great there either. I like to draw by sunlight because it's a diffuse light, it doesn't cast hard shadows.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just work on the dining room table, and my roommate, she left to visit her girlfriend in Boston in March. She's been up there the whole time.
Of course.
So I have kind of free reign of the apartment to just leave all my art.
My goodness, it's fantastic. Everywhere. You can leave all your stuff around.
That's right. All my stuff is everywhere.
Wash up whenever you want to. That is wonderful. Oh my goodness. Yeah. That's not great for her. What's your favorite thing that you're making?
What I'm missing most right now is making Ethiopian food.
Oh, wow.
I love Ethiopian food.
Interesting.
But I don't have any spices, like I've run out. And
you can't get those online?
I could, but I still have all this other food that I could just eat. I'll make beans and tacos and stuff. But the pizza I make pretty regularly, or sandwiches, because I have all this bread, because the sourdough is like use it or lose it.
I'm so jealous. What kind of sourdough do you make? Like a San Francisco? What's your favorite sourdough?
It's my roommate's, and I think she got a portion of the starter from a friend.
Oh, good.
I don't know, but this was maybe 3 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. So maybe I think that one may have died, and then she started one on her own. And I think the recipe probably came from Cook's Illustrated or Bon Appetit or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't really be drawing all day and not suffer the consequences.
Yeah.
So having something else to do to take a little break, go deal with the sourdough starter. I mean, it's a little bit of a routine, but with every book I do, I usually do an entire rewatch of Star Trek.
Fantastic. I love that.
So I'm currently I'm on season 5, and it was probably that I found out about the Sid City Social.
Oh wow. We don't have room for many people, so we don't tell anybody.
Yeah,
so you really have to know how to find this thing.
I told a friend of mine about it yesterday who is, you know, she's a huge fan. She has cats named Julian and Miles, and she didn't know about it. And so I had to text her and be like, do you know about this?
You're an incredibly talented dude. That's
Well,
fantastic. Really amazed, really impressed. And the fact that you made it to the New York Times bestseller list is A, career milestone, but B, really solves the problem of having to go to Canada. It's been a real pleasure meeting you. Good luck with the next three and a half volumes. Be the bestseller worldwide. Make the best.
I'll try. They just told me they're doing a UK edition of the book.
I feel like we've discovered our own celebrity on this club now. Hello, hi Jadzia.
After this interesting person, I won't be able to keep up.
No one is less interesting than the next. Believe me, we've figured that out. We've found that out. Where are you in the world?
I'm from Germany, and currently I'm situated in Bonn.
Wow. Do you go by the name Jadzia on this site, or is that's right?
It's on my passport. That's my real name.
Your actual name. You see, that's for Deep Space Nine fans. That's really interesting, right there.
My parents named me after Jadzia. I don't know why they changed the A to the E.
That's fantastic. Have you just finished college?
I'm in university in my second year. I just got out of school and went straight to university.
What area interests you?
I love languages, so I'm studying English studies and Celtic studies, Irish, Gaelic, and Welsh as a language.
Wow, impressive. And because Welsh, you can probably tell them just how hard it is to even pronounce Welsh words, let alone spell them. And the same goes for Celtic.
There's so many rules just to pronounce things, and it's really hard learning it in the beginning, because especially in Welsh, instead of you, they say I.
And what made you decide on Welsh and Celtic?
Basically, where students, before they graduate, can look fields to study or what they want to do. Walked across a stand of people promoting Celtic studies, and it was like, okay, what is it? I need to do this.
And you did it.
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing. And so do you find yourself transliterating old Celtic texts, is that sort of stuff, or old Welsh texts like the Mabinogion and things like that?
We don't translate things or transcript it because it's difficult, because you would have to learn another language, because it's like old Welsh, Middle Welsh, and New Welsh. You're learning the wrong language.
Forgive my ignorance, but who speaks Celtic now?
Ireland, Scotland, and Wales.
Different forms of Celtic.
Yes, they're all different languages.
I don't hear people speaking that language so often. People on the streets, because I spent quite a few months in Dublin.
In Dublin, there are no Irish speakers or Gaelic speakers. They're more west, in the western side of the country, because they're the Gaelic speaking communities located. Sadly, Dublin is not capital of Gaelic.
And so what are you going to do? What do you want to do with this wonderful linguistic talent of yours?
That's a question that gives me anxiety, because I don't know.
You know what, really, to help your anxiety, you don't need to know. It's not that important. It's just a question that adults will ask you again and again and again.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we do it, because it's actually unfair, because very few people know what they're going to do. And they don't necessarily know until they're about 30. What sort of music excites you?
I listen to a lot. Like, I love movie music. Just listen to the scores of music of Star Trek movies and Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, whatever comes across. I will listen to it, but I also listen to pop music, popular music, or a little bit of rock. I enjoy it most of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to give you I nearly did this the other day, but this time I'm going to look it up, a recommendation for who I found. And you might know and go, yeah, you know. But it was a song called I Don't Want to Be You Anymore. And it was particularly the video on YouTube that just moved me, dealt so well with the idea of teenage identity. People having not really exactly that thrilled with themselves anymore because of Facebook and Instagram and, you know, putting your photos of you doing cool stuff all the time. And that really, I thought that was a really interesting song. The other guy that I found, have you heard of Youngblood?
No, I don't think so.
What I like about both of these two youngsters is they're thinking about what's going on to youth. Because obviously I've got a 23-year-old, so I'm interested in what's happening to them. These kids seem to get the identity. They seem to have an interesting identity, and they seem to be talking about things from an interesting point of view. I'm getting a bit excited about classical music, but only because I want to make sure it doesn't die, like the Welsh language or the Celtic language. We have the same sort of idea of trying to keep these things alive is that, especially concertos, they're like plays. They're like listening to shows on TV or radio, because you hear characters. And when you've got a piano concerto, you can imagine the piano is a character, has a dialogue with the orchestra. And then you'll see the orchestra repeat things and then say something new and then teach the piano something, and then the piano will teach the orchestra something. And that kind of, if you think of it in terms of a drama, it might be a really good way to unlock it. But hey, I'll tell you something. If you don't like it the second time you listen to it, I'm not going to win that battle. But anyway, who are you around?
Strangers, to be honest, because I recently moved into a student's dorm. I try to get to know them, but for me, they're not my friends yet.
Right.
So I'm trying, and they make it easy for me.
And do you live very close to each other, like a few feet?
Yeah, next room. We share a kitchen and bathroom.
And did you have to have a conversation about COVID and all that sort of stuff, about how you're going to approach?
2 of the people I'm living with actually do their masters in some sort of medical health risk management thingy. So they are the experts. And
they are.
If I have questions, I can ask
Absolutely.
them every time.
And are you concerned about it, or are you okay?
I'm concerned for my friends and my family, because I have some people around me who are in the risk groups, and I don't want them to get the virus.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not concerned for myself, so I would be fine, I guess.
Right. And are you watching a lot of TV?
Sadly, yes.
Okay.
I'm binge watching everything I can.
What was your last good fun binge watch?
Actually, a children's show called Avatar: Legend of Korra.
Okay, good.
It's pretty cool and good kids show.
Absolutely. Well, that works for me. People used to think that Doctor Who was a kids show, and then it suddenly...
Oh, I love Doctor Who.
Absolutely. It's certainly not a kids show anymore. There's definitely crossover there. That's fantastic. I've never got to be in Doctor Who, unfortunately. I did books on tape for them, but never actually got to be in the show. And I missed that by a hair last year. But they called me, which is half the battle. At least they were thinking of me.
You'll get there one day.
One day I will.
Yeah, and I will be looking forward to seeing you in the show. Probably
your second year, you said, at college.
Yeah.
So you've got 3 years. This is a 3-year course or a 4-year course?
In theory, it's a 3-year course, but because of software issues, I was not able to take the courses I was supposed to last year. So I'll probably be stuck here for another 2 years.
Oh, okay. And how does that work? Do they go, I mean, surely they'd be like, excuse me, I'm sorry, we just wasted a year of your life.
And I mean, it happens, and everyone knows that software is really not up to date, but no one can do anything about it. They had 3 weeks to prepare every platform we use to work online and to work for every student in order to give us online classes. And they messed up so badly that the first week of the semester, we couldn't do anything. We couldn't upload classes, we couldn't talk to our teachers. It was really messy and really, really bad.
Wow. Well, I hope they fix it.
I hope so too.
Don't waste the whole year. Well, don't worry about what it is you're going to end up doing. Just do things that you're passionate about. Just do, especially this next 2 years at college, because it feels like you have no time, but actually I'm so jealous of the time I had when I was at college, and I don't have that time. When I did something, I did it properly, I did it with all my heart. And I love that about youngsters, and that you just dive in and swim and just go for it, enjoy. And I wish you all the very best with it, and hopefully see you again in the next couple of weeks.
It is my second time joining this Zoom meeting, so I have a fixed spot for Friday evenings, because at Tuesday I really can't stay awake.
What's the matter with you?
I have classes at 8 o'clock the next morning. I can't stay awake for that long.
Stamina. There I was praising the youth of today, and they've got no stamina. Well, it's lovely meeting you, and I hope we'll bump into each other at the club soon.
Thank you. It was lovely to meet you too.
Mi Young, nice to meet you, my friend.
Hi. I'd like to say thanks for doing this. This is amazing.
You're very welcome. Like I always say, it's actually my pleasure.
One of the reasons why I kind of stopped using the term social distancing and believe physical is better. It's less ambiguous, and Actually, I've been more social than I was prior to all this.
Exactly. Saying hi to you and everybody else is just is more social than I've been for a very long time.
So I work in the video game industry as an artist.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pretty much my day-to-day hasn't really changed, aside from the fact my commute's effectively zero now.
Exactly.
And
Absolutely.
even then, I only lived about a 7-minute drive from the office.
Wow. And are you concept artists?
Yeah, I've been doing this for a while now, probably 12 years.
Yeah. Do you get a kick when they start to take your pictures, crunch them into numbers, and turn them into something that moves?
Yeah, I do. Not as much as I used to, just because it's like as I get older, I get more mercenary, I guess, in my opinion.
I've seen it before.
It's kind of a hard edge to ride because you still want to be passionate about what you do, but you don't want that passion to become possessive. I'm not calling the shots. I've got an art director. He's got his managers and, all the way up to the head of WB. I've met a lot of people who, especially younger, they get so passionate and then possessive, and then the decision doesn't go the way they think it should, and it just wrecks their day.
Absolutely does. I get it completely. I mean, I don't know if you saw, we had one of the executive producers from Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Ira, and he was talking about exactly that thing. What sort of games do you design?
So I've worked on a lot of stuff, mainly kind of cinematic realism, but I've also worked on mobile titles. Currently, I work for WB on a new project. Worked on films and TV stuff. Actually, it's kind of funny. I worked on Star Trek stuff too.
What a fantastic variety in your career.
The funny thing is I tend to work primarily with a lot of fantasy titles, but I actually like sci-fi best.
And sci-fi is difficult to conceptualize, Fantasy is much more available to do whatever you do. I mean, I'm sure there are people who conceptualize that early Blade Runner thing, and because Ridley Scott liked to use a lot of drawings for his movies. In fact, he only shot from drawings. That must have been great fun, just drawing out that movie.
I know I've worked with a couple guys who worked on Blade Runner back in the day.
Wow.
They had some interesting stories, real bubblegum and duct tape kind of solutions to everything.
That's absolutely what they did.
I feel like in a lot of films, people tend to try to make novels instead of short stories.
Yeah.
At least I personally think films are more like short stories. You've got absolutely. One or two narrative threads you can tackle. But, with streaming stuff now, it's awesome that you can have like 10 hours of storytelling time to kind of tell the novel now.
Yeah. It's ironic. There's so much stuff available now to watch that I have trouble finding something to watch, which is weird because it should be the opposite way around. But when there were just a few channels and I absolutely knew what was going to come my way, I could just choose or watch nothing. But now it's just like, I don't know where to find good content because it seems to be everywhere. It's the school of fish approach, and I'm the killer whale, and of course I can't catch the damn fish because I don't know which one to follow.
Oh yeah, it's the option overload, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
I have rewatched Star Trek, literally all of it, so many times now.
Wow,
and
that's amazing.
Well, and I'll admit, like DS9 is my favorite Star Trek.
It's great to hear. Thank you.
It was Next Gen was the kind of thing that I first saw. That my dad used the original. But when I was actually kind of a thinking human being, season 3, when I felt like the writers really seemed to get a real handle on all the characters.
Were you living in Los Angeles, yeah?
So I actually live in Washington State. Kind of funny, I live in the Kirkland area, so ground zero for the current epidemic.
Oh, yeah.
That nursing home that were the first major cases were confirmed is only like a mile and a half from my studio.
Wow, okay. Your state's handled it so well.
I'm trying to be positive in the sense that when I look back at history, I think, well, almost every great societal change for the better was usually necessitated. Catalyst was some terrible thing. I guess I'm always a little mad that it takes something kind of terrible for people to try to do change.
That's a really good way to look at it. We have an opportunity to do something better.
Yeah, and there's some stuff that's become normal that I kind of hope stays normal in a sense. I like people slowing life down. I actually like people not crowding in everywhere. I mean,
yeah, I think most of the people in this room would agree with you. I also like the fact that people are respecting the home a lot more. Mm-hmm. Family bonds, difficult though they are, difficult that they may be, are still the bedrock of who we are. Even if you're not living with your parents or your children, you still have to think of them much more often than you normally would, just out of concern.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to my parents every day. Talk on the phone, or we set up a Zoom call because they're in Ohio. I'll admit,
how are they doing?
They're fine. My dad's a retired vet. My mom's retired as well. They can pretty much stay home as much as possible. and they're both in
Are
the
they
high
okay
risk
financially?
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, they've got support. I pay a lot of their bills too. I'm lucky in the sense that Washington State doesn't have a state income tax.
Right.
But I refuse to take pay cuts because I moved from LA to here. So it's like, no.
Good for you, brother.
The nice thing is partly because I remember what I do now as a living was a career switch. So I was a research psychologist for 3 years before being an artist.
Wow.
My, education was on all sciences and stuff like that. And so I remember, what was it? Not last time, but like I think 2 Sid City meetups ago, a young girl from Eastern Europe.
Oh yeah, Czech Republic.
Czech, yeah, and she was talking about trying to figure out what she wanted to do. I'm like, I remember I basically, like, the 20s were the time to do that. I walked away from a graduate career and all that stuff. Same level of poverty doing that.
But it's okay, weirdly, being poor in your 20s. I don't remember having any problem being poor. I'd have enormous problems being poor now, and I feel sorry for anybody who is, especially during this particular period. But when you're a kid, you just sleep anywhere. Do whatever you want. It's all good. I mean, this has put a bit of a damper on it, the COVID thing. But as long as you learn to be passionate, as long as you learn to love, you're going to be in pretty good shape. And that's your big lesson. And then you can figure out where you're going to aim it later.
When people ask, like, what's that one quality that, because there's a lot of, especially kids who want to get into gaming, and a lot of artists who, when they think of going to gaming, they want to be a concept artist. One problem is there's not that many concept artists per team. You don't need as many of them. Yeah, the one thing that they add, that seems to be the common thread among all the ones who make it is they're just really stubborn people.
Yeah, and passionate.
Yeah, so they stick with it when others kind of drop off. It's not for everyone, and I'll admit there are days where it's definitely a job.
I think there's no job that isn't like that. There are days when you don't want this, when you get up and you just don't feel like doing anything, nothing at all.
This thing right here that you can kind of see the corner on, it's my drawing tablet. So I've been able to, like, kind of work on work stuff while I've been listening.
That's great.
Right.
Well, I'm going to let you get back to it. And it's been a real pleasure talking to you. We've got some fascinating careers on tonight and some fascinating people. It's been really, really cool. How fantastic. Nice to meet you.
Oh, my heart is pounding. Okay.
This is great. On Tuesday was the psychologist day, and today is the artist day.
I'm so excited to see everybody in the chat, just as much as I'm excited to see you. Yeah.
That's actually much more important than me.
I think a lot of them read my stories.
That's fantastic. Where are you?
I'm in New Zealand.
Oh my goodness. It's north or south?
Wellington, so south of the North Island.
Yeah, I spent some months there. It's a beautiful, beautiful country.
It is a really good city.
Yeah. So what stories are you writing? And we've got to point everybody, the people who don't know those stories must find out where they are. How do we get to find them?
So they're garish fics. I can't breathe.
Take your time. Take your time. Actually, you know what you can do first? First, you can tell me, how is life in Wellington right now?
My brain has died.
It's okay. I will lead you through this.
So I never leave my house usually.
Yeah.
So I've been chronically ill for the last decade and a half. I dropped out of high school and I just started to write in 2012.
Yeah.
And I only just found the DS9 fandom 7 or 8 months ago.
Oh my goodness.
And I had such a warm welcome, and like immediately people were reading my stories and enjoying them. And I love everybody in this bar so much.
That's really
I
great.
found my people.
You did. You did. They're really lovely people. So before we started this, we were planning what we would do if trolls came, if someone came and Zoom bombed the thing. And we needn't have bothered because everyone is just delightful. So, so sweet. And you couldn't not be in more generous arms than the arms of all these people in this room.
People are talking about my stories in the chat. I use they pronouns or avoid pronouns entirely. I'm gender neutral.
So they know who you are already. I'm really glad to hear it.
I've never really interacted with anybody who reads my stories in real life.
Well, you are doing it now.
There was one time in 2014, I was invited to because I previously wrote for the Supernatural fandom, and I got really popular there. I think I'm still popular, but I kind of abandoned the fandom when I found DS9.
Yeah. Not
intentionally. I'm hyper-fixated, autistic way.
Completely get it.
I can't remember what I was saying.
This is absolutely the right place for you. And what we've got to do is get you on so that people can ask you questions about your work. This is what this forum's for. So what we have to do next week, or whenever you've got time, it's going to be a Friday, or so that people, because there'll be a lot of these guys down here know exactly who you are and read your stuff and love it. But they've got to talk to you about it. So will you come on and just have the first half an hour to yourself and just talk to people, just answer open mic.
I would absolutely love that.
Good. Well, that's what we're going to do. So it's just going to be an open mic day. People who just read your stories, and then you can tell them what it means or what you meant. We'll go from there.
I sent Mel some of my art, hoping that maybe I could share some of it.
Please.
And I expected her to say no.
You've got to follow through now. We're going to set you up. You've got to come and tell people a bit more about yourself, but let them ask you the questions, not me.
I have some questions for you as well. I made a list. Bashir sits very strangely. So he'll perch on chairs and sit on his own feet, and he never uses the chair normally. But I've noticed that you also do that.
That's exactly me. That's me. That's right. I will sit on my feet. And one of the reasons is, and I didn't really know this until I started doing TV, I have an incredibly short torso, which is such a weird thing to suggest. But if someone else was sitting in a chair next to me here, they would be up here. And so I sit on my feet, and originally I sat on my feet so I could get to the table and eat with my knife and fork, because I was just really short at the table. And it's weird because I'm about 6 foot. Something must be wrong, and it must be my torso.
You know, that leads me to my second question. When I'm illustrating my stories, I find your legs so hard to draw. And my mother really wanted me to tell you that. Because your proportions are not the proportions that you learn to draw when you learn to draw.
No, because they are, and you've just unlocked it, because they are longer than what it's supposed to be. So it's really weird.
Well, could I show some of the art now? The first one being the Pick Me Up Party.
Oh, that's great.
So this was from a story called The Pick Me Up Party, wherein Bashir was grumpy because he's too skinny. Like, the entire DS9 crew cheers him up by picking him up until he's laughing and giggling.
That's really cool.
So yeah, that was the first one. So actually your legs were okay. So they were easy to draw in this one. The second one.
Okay. So I'm a proud father.
Your legs were so unbelievably hard to draw. I had to do like 5 different versions, and every single time I had my whole family look, and they're like, there's something wrong with my legs.
I apologize profusely. I guess I'm the weirdest looking guy. And the second one where I'm pregnant, which is the one you're referring to, Keiko's baby.
Yeah, so that's, I kind of, so a lot of people interpret Bashir as transgender. For that story, I interpreted him as intersex.
Okay, that's good.
I wanted to write a story like that for, I think, maybe my entire life without even realizing, but then I found this fandom, and people are so accepting of that headcanon, but like not just accepting, but they want more stories like that, and I've never found a fandom that wants that stuff before so much.
I think you've got to keep doing it. I mean, it's this is what it's all for.
When I started writing, and I realized, first of all, that people were enjoying my writing, but that I could introduce the representation that I wanted in stories and bring it to the people that needed or wanted it. I felt that was really important, and writing has meant so much to me. It saved my life many times. Yeah. And the messages I've gotten over the years as well is just from people who've been in like really, really hard situations, and like my writing has helped. And that's how that is just the best thing I could ever hear. And you have to be talented to do that. So, hat off to you. Hat off to you. Well, will you promise me that you'll help me with one of these chats so that people can ask you questions about your work? Yeah. Everything you've said and everything everybody has said has been interesting to me. Good. The third art. So that's from a story that I'm about to post right after this chat. So that's Muslim Bashir, because it is Eid today or tomorrow. Yeah. So I was born and raised Muslim. Really? Yes, Cora, there is a new thing coming right after this. So I know you were born Muslim. Yeah. No longer a practicing Muslim. Pretty much. But actually, all my paperwork is Siddig al-Fadil, my given name. Okay. I'm going to stop here because we're way over time, but I want to invite you formally to come and to come with me, and we'll do this session together one day. Hell yes. So let's organize it with Mel for next week, and that gives people time to read your work, and a lot of them already have. Get questions ready for you, and also submit them to Mel so she can organize how we can talk, and we can talk a bit more as well during that time. Okay. All right. Well, everybody, did anybody have a birthday this week? That's you. Happy birthday for Sunday. It's lovely to see you again too. Thank you. Great. Well, I know it'll be Tuesday next time we all meet, and you might not be awake, so... it will be very early, yeah. So, happy birthday. Oh, thank you so much. It's a big one this year, and I won't be doing very much, obviously. Well, strange big, but not.
saying happy birthday to you right now.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you.
Okay.
If I may, for the people that are having their birthdays.
Yes. Oh,
Happy
great.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you.
All right, guys. Love you and leave you.